Why I'm here is my name's Officer Joe Fischbacher, officer with the Brookings Police Department. I have been on the mentoring committee since its inception way back in the late 90s. Been on the board. Actually helped get the program developed here in town and stayed on board ever since. I'm also the chairperson for the marketing and recruiting committee. So it's kind of my involvement with the mentoring program besides the capacity I am as a law enforcement officer. I also work in the schools. I'm a school resource officer, been there for 8 years, so I'm very well aware of all the children, what goes on with the children, what some of the problems are that they may have. So that's another role I take with this program. I've been asked to come in for training purposes to talk to you about what you might run into with kids, certain circumstances that you may be concerned about, are worried about. There's a variety of them. I can't hit every single one of them because every circumstance is different. But basic situations, kids talking about running away to you should be made aware of to individuals that are head of the department or head of the program. Example, Joe Woodard. Let her know what this child's talking about. If you see signs of abuse, signs of abuse can be anything. Obviously the physical, bruises, burns, hair pulled out, things like that. If you see that stuff, make somebody aware of that. That's very important to deal with that. Other signs of abuse you don't see as often. It's harder to see emotional abuse. If you see parents interacting with the kids that you're mentoring or kids you are mentoring and see how they're interacting with them and their behavior is questionable as a parent, let Joe know. Let me know if you're comfortable telling me. There are other signs as well that become more sensitive as far as molestation, sexual abuse, those kind of things. They won't be as prevalent, but you will see indications from that child if that stuff is going on with them, acting out behavior, sexual behavior in kids that at their age is not appropriate. They shouldn't know that kind of stuff. Those are things that you need to make somebody aware of. It's very important to notify somebody of that stuff. Who can you call? As I said before, Joe Woodard, she's in charge of the program. She probably interviewed you for becoming a mentor. Get a hold of her. 9 times out of 10 she'll call me, so I'm at least aware of it, or else I'll get involved in it. There's also school counselors at all the schools. Make sure you become aware of your counselor, that you have the kid you have, become aware of their counselor at their school. So who they are, what they know, let them know who you are. Really helps out with the situation if things do arise. Situations that have arose or have come up at all, I got a call one night, 3 in the morning. A mentor had a kid come to his house that had run away. They called Joe, Joe called me, and the situation was taken care of. But long story short on that situation, of course I can't go into greater details with that, but that shows the impact you guys can have on these children, that when they do run away, they think of you guys. And in this case, they came to this person's residence. So it's just a very important position to be in. You need to maintain that role model status. And one thing I'd like to hit on with that, the role model status is, you got to remember you're in this position with children. And you got to remember that all the time. It's not that hour you're with the kid that week. That's all the time. If you go downtown, if you're of age, you are a role model to children. And they do read papers, they do hear things. If you get in trouble and it's in the paper, you have to explain to that kid that you're mentoring why you got in trouble. And the best thing to do is avoid those situations, but I know we're all adults and things do happen. But just keep that in mind, you are a role model all the time. It's not just that hour you're with that child. In closing here, as I stated, this is a very important position, very important role you're taking, not only for the children, but for yourself and the community that you are living in right now. There's a lot of kids out there that need a lot of help, need a lot of good role models. And you stepping up and doing this is very important. It's very commendable. And just keep that in mind. And you're doing the right thing, and hopefully these kids will become future mentors for other kids if things work out properly with you guys.
Well, we've come to the end of our time together. I really appreciate you having spent this time with us. And I want to assure you that the slide on your screen is going to tell you how you can get in touch with us if you have any questions at all. Once you sign on with the mentoring program, you also get a cell number, a 24/7 cell number that you can call for any questions that you might have in your mentoring experience. Thank you so much for taking the time to consider the mentoring role, mentees, whether or not you want to engage with this program, whether this is a good fit for you or not. We certainly appreciate you taking the time. And if you have applied to be a mentor and this has actually been your bona fide training experience, we hope it's been all that you expected it to be. We hope we've put into your hands that which you need in order to be successful in your role and to care for your mentee. Please don't hesitate to contact us. Please don't hesitate to go down to the Brookings Public Library. They're at the ready to help you with resources there. Again, we want to acknowledge the www.beamentor.org and mentor.org as sources for all of the material that we've presented today, as well as the Search Institute website. And we just thank you for your interest in the youth and young adults of Brookings County.